Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kirill, your justice analyst from Belarus living in Germany, and today we continue taking a look at the results of Eurovision 2026. As you have already seen, this is the video about top 10 entries from Eurovision 2026. If you still haven't seen my video about the other contestants finishing between places 11 and 25, definitely take a look, you will definitely find something interesting. So in my previous video, I only could share the insights about the televoting, about the detailed results of televoting in each and every country, and about the summarized jury results where we only saw the actual top 10s in each and every country. So now, using this chance, I would like to summarize for you a couple of interesting insights about those entries finishing 11th to 25th with regards to their jury results. So first of all, which country actually was ranked most often last by the juries? I don't think it will come as a big surprise, but 16 countries out of 35 voting have ranked United Kingdom last, so 25th or 24th if they were one of the participants of the grand final. The second worst ranked one, however, is Serbia. They were ranked last by 5 countries and followed by 3 last places of the host country, Austria. If we take a look at the individual tops of all the jurors, in every country we had 6 or 7 jurors. There were 4 countries where only 6 jurors were voting in the grand final. Then we can see that 60 of them, so kind of 1/4, have put in the last place United Kingdom, 35 jurors went for Lithuania, 32 again for Serbia, and the next one having only 16 jurors having them ranked less. So it was a very clear bottom 3 for the jurors this year, even though Serbia actually managed to get quite some decent points with the help of Croatia and Montenegro. If we now talk about the countries which actually did good in the jury voting but which didn't manage to get into the top 10, then definitely France, which finished 11th in overall, was a huge highlight. It was one of the only 3 countries which was not ranked by any juror, by any of those 240 last. But now let's just start, and of course the first country will be Greece. Ranked 3rd by the bookmakers before the final, 4th in my prediction, 8th by the Eurovision fans, Akylas unfortunately managed to finish even lower, only on place 10. He was such a huge favorite right from the beginning, and I think the performance which they prepared for the Eurovision stage was absolutely amazing. I love that Elena Paparizou reference, I love those rooms which Akylas was walking through in the second half of the song. In any case, it's a second top 10 finish for Greece in a row. I hope they're on their way of becoming again a big Eurovision powerhouse like they used to be 15 years ago. Having 6th highest amount of points received from televote this year, Akylas has 8th best average ranking in the televote. He has received 12 points from Cyprus, Bulgaria and San Marino, while the viewers in Albania, Germany, Serbia and Luxembourg have awarded him 8 points. Only 8 countries, including 3 Nordic countries, didn't give him any points, and his worst position was place 17 in the top of Ukraine. But now let's take a look how the juries actually voted for Greece. By the juries, Ferto was ranked as expected somewhat lower, but still scoring 12 points from Cyprus and Serbia, also 8 from Moldova and Poland, 6 from San Marino and Montenegro, 5 from Israel, 4 from Sweden. But have you noticed? Only Cyprus out of all these 8 countries was not competing together with Greece in semi-final 1, which of course shows once again that the juries tend to favor the songs from the same semi-final where they have already voted before. You can also see that by one country Greece was ranked dead last. It was ranked 25th by the Swiss jury. 6 individual jurors in total have ranked Akylas last, while 53 of the jurors have put him into the bottom 5. But this amount is not even the highest in our final top 10. There is one country which have more than 53. If the final ranking would have been decided by the amount of the sort of dislikes which jurors give to the entries, then Greece would have had place 17, having almost the same amount of dislikes as Germany. First of all, what a perfect performance LELÉKA has delivered in the grand final. I think vocally it was absolutely mesmerizing and beautiful. Maybe you have seen that recap from the jury show which was used for the voting of the rest of the world. There, unfortunately, her voice really badly cracked. This didn't sound that good, which maybe became an additional reason for this country to have such a huge gap between televoting result and the jury result. The juries have ranked Ukraine 15th, while the televoters 5th. I will also remind you that the bookmakers were putting Ukraine on place 13, the Eurovision fans on place 16. For me, it was kind of between places 11 and 14, but in the end, Ukraine is once again in the grand final top 10. Voters in Czechia, Poland and Georgia thought Ukraine was the best this year, while Moldova, Portugal, Estonia and rest of the world were putting Ukraine into their top 3 as well. Only 5 countries did not award Ukraine any points. Their lowest score was 20th place in the Russian-friendly Serbia, the second lowest score was 17th place in Greece, and it's quite interesting to see because Ukraine also awarded 17th place in the televoting to Greece, which became the worst score for Akylas. And it's just about time to see how the juries ranked Ukraine. So as you can see, they were ranking Ukraine 13th on average, and she scored points just from 9 out of 34 jury groups, with highest being 12 from Switzerland and 10 from Azerbaijan. While only 3 jury members from Armenia and Czechia have ranked her last, she was put to bottom 5 by 38 individual jurors, which means that 16% of all juries thought her performance was unfortunately one of the weakest in the final. Another entry totally loved by the televoters, in this case even with place 4, and totally destroyed by the juries, this time with the biggest gap between places in televoting and in the jury voting. This is a difference of 13 places. Comes of course to Moldova this year, and Satoshi brings 4th best result ever to Moldova. Only 6 countries did not award Moldova any points, and even those didn't have Moldova lower than on place 16. On the other hand, Satoshi got 12 points from Romania, from Italy and from Ukraine. With this huge amount of 12 points, 10 points, also 8 points, Satoshi is actually ranked 3rd best by the amount of top 3 finishes, losing just to Israel and Bulgaria. And now let's take a look how the juries have actually ranked his entry. Juries in France definitely did not want to do a sing-along with Satoshi for his entry Viva Moldova, because they placed him last. While 12 jurors in total, so every 20th jury member has put Moldova less than his own top, 60 jurors, so every 4th of them, thought the performance of Satoshi should be in bottom 5. This is definitely by far the worst result among our top 10 entries, and even higher than the amount of bottom 5 places, for example for Germany in the jury tops. I would say it was clear from the beginning that this entry is targeting the televoters, and getting 4th place is an amazing result, and Satoshi can be totally proud of this. What a switch from big televote favorites, we are now going to a big jury favorite. And this year Denmark finally managed to get their best result since the victory of Emily de Forest in 2013. This is also their first top 10 finish since 2018, and finally of course again qualifying to the grand final, which was quite an issue even 2 years ago. As I have said, televoting did not favor Søren that much. He has received points only from 14 countries in total. 3 highest points which he has received, so his top 3 finishes were all in the tops of the fellow Scandinavian countries. He has got 12 points from Norway, 10 points from Sweden and 8 points from Finland. Azerbaijan and Ukraine have also awarded Denmark 7 points, while our 3 of the big 4 countries, France, UK and Germany, did not feel the sun, and all of them have ranked Denmark between places 17 and 18, which were the worst televote scores of Denmark this year. Talking about the juries, Denmark has of course finished 3rd by the amount of their points, but in some of the criteria they even became the best. So first of all, Søren has received 12 points from Norwegian and Czech jury groups, while 7 more countries have awarded him 10 points. 23 jurors, so every 10th juror has ranked Denmark 1st. It is the best score out of all countries. No other country has got so many individual first places as Denmark. For example, Poland was ranked first 22 times, which is the 2nd best score, and Bulgaria just 21 times. Denmark is also one of the 3 countries which was not ranked less by any juror, and Denmark has also the lowest number of bottom 5 ranks by all individual jury members, with just 7. Actually, the closest country when it comes to the amount of bottom 5 places is France, and instead of 7, they have all the 12. When we take a look which jurors didn't really favor the song, you can see that these were the 2 countries eliminated in the first semi-final, Georgia and Portugal. Probably the biggest surprise of the night was the 6th place of Finland, which was ranked first by the bookmakers, first by you Eurovision fans, first also in my prediction. It was staying on the first place in the odds throughout the whole Eurovision season since the song has been presented. They even kept the same staging as in the Finnish UMK, hoping that they will kind of not mess anything up. Maybe they were playing a little bit too safe. I think many people got just slightly bored by the song and the performance. They just wanted something new. For example, Bulgaria or Australia, they brought something completely different to the Eurovision stage, not something we would have expected. That's why the hype was so high, which definitely helped them to finish even higher. Worth saying that the points difference between the places 6 and 3 is very small. All these countries are so close to each other, just some of them were more lucky or less lucky. Talking about the televoting, Finland received points from all countries except for just 6. Their lowest score was 14th place in the voting of Bulgaria, which is a little bit suspicious if the country also wants to win Eurovision Song Contest. On the other hand, 65% of all the points they have received, they were somewhere between places 12 and 8, which means almost all the marks which they have received were extremely small, which did not contribute to have a high sum of points. Only 9 countries had Finland in their top 5, while for example even Albania had 7 top 5 finishes. If we talk about the previously mentioned countries like Ukraine and Moldova, they even had 13 and 17 top 5 finishes respectively. The televoters only in Estonia and Sweden wanted Finland to win this year, while the televoters in Latvia, Norway and Australia were at least ranking Finland second. Now let's take a look at the jury results. And Finland is one of the 3 countries alongside France and Denmark, which I have already mentioned, which received 0 last places in personal jurors' tops. On contrary, Finland has the 3rd highest amount of the jury top 5s, but not the top 3 finishes. Every 3rd jury member had Finland in their top 5. I will remind you that only Estonia and Sweden awarded Finland 12 points from the televote, and it looks exactly the same with the jury points. While no other country placed Finland even second, the least liked was Finnish entry by the Bulgarian jury, surprise surprise, and Swiss jury. Do you actually remember how Bulgaria did exactly the same play in Eurovision 2017, when it was one of the only 2 countries to not award any jury points to the actual winner of that year, Portugal, while everyone else gave it at least 5 points. Not that it had any significant impact in 2017 or in this year, but actually this year it most probably has costed Finland its place in top 5. Wow, it's a 9th top 10 finish for Italy in a row, and actually not only top 10 but even top 7 finish. They definitely know what the Eurovision televoting audience and Eurovision juries need and want, and even being ranked 18th by the Eurovision fans, 10th by the bookmakers, I was ranking the chances of Salda Vinci to be in top 4 quite high. He was in my prediction somewhere in places 3 or 4. Now he finished 5th, but actually he's just few points away from place 4, also not so far away from place 3. Italy got actually only 7th place in the televote, 6th place in the jury ranking, but after combining these 2 tops, they became 5th. I have already told you in my review about Italian entry that they are a country which always the most lucky when it comes to Eurovision mathematics. Almost every second occasion they get a higher total placing than their individual televoting or their individual jury scores. Televoters in 12 countries, so in more than 1/3 of voting countries, have not awarded Italy any points, but on the other hand, televoters in 16 countries loved the song so much that it finished in top 5 in their respective countries, solidifying a very high place again for Italy. Only one country had Italy outside their top 13. It was Czechia, who placed Italy in their televote on place 16. Now let's take a look at how the juries voted for Salda Vinci and his beautiful Italian wedding story. All in all, the juries liked Italian entry too, including 12 points from the juries in Azerbaijan and Albania, and only juries in 5 countries have put Italy on place 20 or lower. 3 jurors from Luxembourg, Denmark and the United Kingdom thought that this song is the most dreadful in the grand final, have placed it dead last. In any case, it didn't really have much impact, and Italy is again in top 5. My personal winner of this year, and as many of you know, actually my most favorite singer in the world, Delta Goodrem brings the second best result ever to Australia in Eurovision Song Contest. She was ranked second by the bookmakers. She was also ranked second in my prediction for the grand final. However, you Eurovision fans were putting her on place 4 in the Eurovision scoreboard app, and this is exactly the place which she got in the end. Worth mentioning that Australia has also won the public poll in the arena during the jury grand final show, and she has also won the media award, which means the journalists attending and observing Eurovision Song Contest this year have also chosen her as their winner. Unfortunately, Eclipse became the only entry in the entire top 10 to be not awarded even a single set of 12 points from the televoters throughout Europe. Her best results, 10 points, were from Austria, Malta, Armenia and Israel. Delta's entry did nevertheless very well in the televote throughout Europe. She was not placed in any of the countries lower than place 14. Her lowest result, place 16, so actually one exception, was in Ukraine. I was also quite heartbroken to see Delta finishing 11th in the televote of Germany. I have voted so many times for her from different devices, asking family and friends to also cast their votes, but presumably it was still not enough. With the jury points, however, it looks very different. So Delta has been awarded 3 sets of 12 points from Israel, Romania and Armenia, and Delta generally was put into top 5 by 90 jurors, so almost by 40% of them. The juries of Lithuania, Portugal, Italy, Estonia, Georgia, San Marino, Montenegro, they all have ranked Delta significantly lower than the juries who were voting initially for her also in the second semifinal. This pattern, unfortunately, we have noticed in most of the jury votings, so it raises naturally a question, maybe the jurors should actually rank entries in every semifinal. I don't know how exactly it should work, because I don't think the producers want to have televote also in every semifinal, because just the viewing figures are not that high, but we, I guess, need some kind of solution, because otherwise it puts some artists into disadvantage. Delta was ranked dead last by 1 juror in Georgia, so also of course country from the first semifinal, and 12 times she was ranked bottom 5, which nevertheless makes her 3rd least disliked contestant this year, even less disliked than DARA. I think she should be totally proud of this performance, at least I definitely was, and it probably becomes my most favorite performance in Eurovision of all time. Wow, wow, wow. Against all odds, Alexandra Căpitănescu gets 2nd place in the televote of Eurovision 2026 and repeats the best Romanian result in Eurovision Song Contest ever, 3rd place, which they already had in 2005 and 2010, so it means last time actually 16 years ago. It's also their first top 10 finish since 2017. Alexandra did extremely well in the televoting of all countries. Together with Bulgaria, she is the only one who didn't receive any 0 from the televote, her lowest score being 1 point from Germany, while no other country has awarded Romania less than 3 points. The highest score Romania got from Moldova, of course, it's 12 points from their televote, but 10 points she also got from the rock legends of Eurovision Song Contest Finland, from Lithuania, Poland, Ukraine, Bulgaria, Belgium, Italy and Luxembourg. But now let's take a look at the jury points, which unfortunately were of course significantly lower than the televote score. 7 jurors from various countries, while 2 of them are actually from the United Kingdom, have ranked Alexandra dead last in this grand final, which is totally ridiculous. The lowest total jury placing she got was from neighboring Serbia, where she was ranked 22nd. Seems like the Serbian jury did not want to acknowledge any other rock entries this year, even though the Romanian one is obviously much stronger, and only 2 juries have awarded Alexandra top 3 points, the juries from Czechia and Luxembourg. Being ranked 19th by the Eurovision fans, 4th by the bookmakers, in my prediction I was putting Noam on place 5, he managed to come 2nd, so repeating the result of Yuval Raphael from last year, bringing Israel for a 2nd time in a row to place 2. He was obviously quite lucky because his televoting result was place 3, his jury result, which actually was much higher than in all the previous years, was place 8, but with this Eurovision mathematics, when the juries and the televoters cannot agree about their favorites, something like this might happen, that with place 3 and 8, you turn up on place 2 in the end. I thought the performance was absolutely stunning. If it would represent another country, let's say Cyprus, without any political context, I would be very curious to see how it would do. I actually wouldn't be surprised if instead of Bulgaria, this song would have ended up being a winner. I think Noam Bettan is a fantastic vocalist. That's a very professionally written, radio-friendly song. So perfect Eurovision formula. Just with all this controversy, it's of course hard to look at the points and be able to judge if they are fair or not. Israel received this year points from all countries except Australia, Lithuania and Croatia. With Australia, it's quite interesting. There he was ranked the lowest, only 20th, so not even close to the points. In the last 2 years, Israel, with those powerful ballots, managed to convince Australian televoters. They were awarded 12 points in 2 years in a row, but this year place 20, not even close to the points. With Croatia, it's a very different story. They are the only country out of all countries participating in Eurovision who for 3 years in a row are putting Australia out of their top 10, so not awarding them any televote points. If this is really about judging the songs or also a political message from Croatia, I can't really judge, but that's just my observation. Noam has nevertheless received 6 sets of 12 points, which is the second highest score in this year after Bulgaria, which I believe received 10. So he got his 12 points from Finland, Switzerland, Azerbaijan, France, Germany and Portugal. Now let's take a look at the jury score, and Israel managed to enter top 10 in the jury tops in 22 countries, while 12 countries left him with nothing. Due to obvious political reasons, Israel has received the 4th highest amount of last places from individual jurors, being ranked by 16 of them, so around 7%, only less than Lithuania, Serbia and UK. If we talk about the amount of bottom 5 finishes, then Israel with 32, so just 16 more, becomes actually the 9th best country, which just shows how many jurors were putting Israel on purpose to the last place instead of ranking the song for its musical value. On the other hand, 76 jurors had him in top 5, 46 in top 3 and 17 even on the first place. Quite interestingly, this whole spread ended up in 12 points from just one country, Poland, where one particular jury member, Vicky Gabor, has extra placed Israel on the last place, while her juror colleagues were putting Israel very high. Maybe you know, for this average calculation and for awarding the points from the jurors, the European Broadcasting Union is not using a simple average, they're using exponential average, which means that the lower scores are having less value on the total result than the higher ones. I just really hope that this whole political controversy with regards to televoting and with regards to the jury voting for Israel will be over soon. Let's just rewind back into 2019 or 2021 or something like that, where we were ranking music and not the political views. Wow, what an outcome it was, with the 7th place in the bookmaker odds just one day before the final, with the 5th place in the Eurovision fans voting already after, this final performance has been presented. Nevertheless, Bulgaria managed to gain its first victory in Eurovision history. I was actually not so optimistic about the chances of the song. I was thinking it will not even be in top 10. I was totally wrong. It has been quite a while since we had a new country as the Eurovision winner, but DARA, 27-year-old singer from Bulgarian coastal town Varna, made it possible. Throughout its history in Eurovision Song Contest, Bulgaria has been in the grand finals only 6 times. However, all of them Bulgaria was in top 15 and in 4 occasions even on top 5. And this year brought a comeback after 3 years of absence. I will remind you that Bulgaria has invited a famous dream team led by Dimitris Kantopoulos, the composer and producer from Greece, to write 3 songs for DARA for the national selection, where Bangaranga has been chosen. Dimitris Kantopoulos is definitely a seasoned writer for Eurovision Song Contest. His first entry was back then in 2007, Work Your Magic, for my home country Belarus, which got 6th place. In total, Dimitris wrote 16 songs for Eurovision Song Contest, 9 of them were in the grand finals. DARA's entry was now entry number 10, which was not only the lucky grand final entry, but even the one which finally brought victory to him. If you would like to learn more about Dimitris Kontopoulos, other composers of the song, and in general about the Bulgarian national selection of this year, definitely check out my video about the Bulgarian entry where I did my first reaction to Bangaranga. And DARA has absolutely smashed the televote with massive 312 points. The closest contestant is from Romania, Alexandra Căpitănescu, with 232 points. It's nevertheless 80 points less. DARA didn't receive less than 6 points from any country participating in this year's edition, except for just 2. Italy has awarded them 5 points and Ukraine 4 points. She has received 10 sets of 12 points, while also even the rest of the world has also awarded her 12 points. But now let's take a look at the jury points. While she was of course a clear jury leader throughout the whole sequence, her total jury score is the lowest since the introduction of the juries in Eurovision Song Contest. I'm of course talking about the jury winners of every year. This year the jury points just ended up being much more spread, so that even the entry finished 10th in total. I mean the combination of jury and televoting points had over 200 points. This huge amounts of points for all entries in the top 10 I remember last time only in Eurovision 2019. Speaking about DARA, again, 4 countries have awarded her 12 points from their juries. These were Australia, Denmark, Lithuania and Malta, which is the highest amount of the jury's 12 points jointly with Poland this year. One juror in Portugal even awarded DARA last place in his ranking, while 16 jurors in total had her in their bottom 5, while Denmark, for example, was in bottom 5 of only 7 jurors. So in the end, 4 countries have awarded DARA with 0 points. In any case, her victory was very clear, no one was even close, and I really hope Eurovision will take place in Bulgaria. And we have reached the end of this video. What a fantastic Eurovision season it was, full of surprises, full of drama, of course, full of great songs again, and I personally found my new favorite Eurovision song of all time, Eclipse by Delta Goodrem. Please let me know down below in the comments what do you think about this top 10, who was your main favorite of this year, which song will be playing on repeat for you even after Eurovision Song Contest. Definitely subscribe to my channel to not miss my content in the future. I really hope I will find some time to also observe Eurovision Song Contest Asia. I'm very curious about that format, so like this video, stay tuned, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.